Take two. Hello everybody, video here for you today. These are the retro no cap recaps of The Curse of Oak Island Season 5, episodes 11 and 12, originally aired in January 2018. If you missed my recaps of previous and future episodes, there's a link to my Oak Island playlist in the upper right. Let's get into it. Previously, on The Curse of Oak Island, people have been looking for an incredible treasure for 228 years. In the money pit area, the team continues to oscillate the H8 caisson into the ground and hammer grabbing the contents, including wood beams. Marty believes this wood is coming from the chapel shaft. It is the location of what Chapel believed was a wooden vault covered with concrete at approximately 150 feet. Doug recently found documentation that the shaft walked when being dug, which means it didn't go straight down. It veered 10 feet to the west, which would have caused it to miss the vault. The team's hope is that the caisson would be going straight down right into the vault. In the war room, Doug reveals more research. He has found a ship's log that indicates that French people were in the area ahead of the French fleet's arrival in 1746 to attempt to seize Nova Scotia and the Northern American colonies from the British. Along the way, the fleet lost hundreds of men due to violent storms, as well as typhus and scurvy outbreaks, and was ordered to abandon the siege and return to France. The commander of the fleet was the Duc d'Envie, whose actual last name was Rochefoucauld, which is written on the Xena Halpern map in the upper right. Doug has found a ship's log that mentions no word from the Duc d'Envie, the ship not being safe due to all the treasure on board, and the decision that a deep pit be dug and treasure securely buried, and the pit having a secret entrance via a tunnel from the shore. The final log entry is digging to 67 feet and encountering wet soil, and the decision to dig deeper to dry soil. In the money pit area, Gary metal detects the H8 spoils and finds this iron spike that appears to have concrete on it. Narrator Robert Clotworthy reminds us that the chapel vault was thought to be wooden and covered in concrete. On the wash table, Jack finds this bone in this same hole when it was just 6 inches wide as opposed to the current 60. Bones from 2 individuals were found in the spoils, one of which was European and the other from the Middle East. At the end of the day, the pressure on the oscillator doubles as it cuts through what the operator thinks is a lot of flat wood. Now that the caisson is below the depth of the chapel shaft, shown here, not being straight down but veering west, which is on the left side of the picture, the team hopes they are on the chapel vault. The next day, as the team from Rock Equipment changed the oscillator teeth, Rick and Gary metal detect in Smith's Cove, and they find what is one of the biggest finds on the show to date. This lead cross that Gary thinks could be from the 1200s to the 1500s. Later testing finds that it's 13 or 1400s, and the material in the lead comes from southern France. It was 10 inches under the beach. And if it looks familiar, even during the first airing of this episode, it's because the carving from the left is from the previous week's episode when Rick, Alex, and Peter visited Dome Prison in France, where many Templars were kept while awaiting execution. The next episode begins in the war room, in which they show the cross to archaeologist Laird Niven, who says he hasn't seen anything like it before. The next day at the H8 spoils wash table, Gary finds this piece of pottery that was approximately 150 feet underground. Meanwhile, the H8 caisson encounters a 10-foot void starting at 162 feet. Later, Gary and Rick return to Smith's Cove, and Gary finds this piece of lead that he thinks could be a spoon, and this piece of decorative brass that he believes could be from a boat. Gary also tells Rick and us that since he has detected that beach pretty well in previous years, The cross and the brass and any other artifacts they find are either washed up on the beach or being pushed off the banks due to the storms. Back at the wash table, Gary finds another piece of leather, and another bone in spoils from 162 feet underground, H8. There's disappointment, though, that the 60-inch hole results in just slightly more fines than the original 6-inch hole as the oscillator hits bedrock. They come to the conclusion that there is a possibility that the caisson grazed the vault and pushed it to the side or further down. The grid metal detection data is in, and it reveals this cluster of longer shapes, which means a stronger detection. They are 150 to 160 feet underground, which is approximately the reported depth of the chapel vault. Marty still thinks H8 is the money pit and says if you draw a 7-foot circle around that cluster, that would be representative of the money pit. Craig, still grieving his late son Drake, announces that he will not be returning to the island after leaving soon after the war room meeting ends. The team agrees to try one more caisson in a close-by area that they have not explored adequately previously. It will be in the area of the black marks and will be picked by Rick, Doug, and Charles. It will be named DMT, Drake Tester's initials. No Cap recaps of season 11 will debut Tuesday late nights, and I'll also continue these retro No Cap recaps of seasons 5 through 8. Seasons 1 through 4 and 9 and 10 are already done, as well as the aired episodes of season 11. Upcoming streams, Ramsey Coach with Coach Steve Money most Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central Time. Once again, I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. And that is a video conferencing appointment. And you can do that from anywhere that there is Wi-Fi, like Oak Island. You can email me about coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel at CoachSteveMoney@gmail.com. Channel donations. You can go to paypal.me/CoachSteveMoney. If you don't want to sign up for PayPal, you can just send me a Walmart gift card to CoachSteveMoney@gmail.com. You can add me on the gram at CoachSteveMoney. And of course, this YouTube channel is called youtube.com/CoachSteveMoney. And thank you so much for your support. Please subscribe, like, and comment.